I had a chat with another content creator this morning. In fact, I had an interaction with him. And obviously, me and this content creator have been coming on for quite a while. In fact, to ek begin op social media, he was already on social media. He was already on TikTok. He was already on Facebook. And I remember when I started my journey on social media, a lot of people didn't understand it. Because one, I was considered old. I mean, still now I'm considered old for social media, too old for social media. And they didn't understand it. So some people have this idea in their head that if I don't like somebody on social media, or this person makes me feel uncomfortable, or this person, I don't like this person's energy, then I must try and get this person off social media. Right? And I got quite a bit of a resistance. And this content creator was one of those that had resistance right in the beginning. Obviously, my content right in the beginning was considered controversial because I was saying things that a lot of people did not want to say, or were scared to say, or they weren't ready to hear it. And obviously, there was a lot of people that didn't like it. And fortunately or unfortunately, this content creator was one of them that was quite critical about my content. But I very soon realized that there's much more to the social media thing than just making videos on TikTok. There is a very big commercial element to it, right? And how I saw that was quite simple, right? If you look at the concept of YouTube, if you look at the concept of Facebook, if you look at the concept of any social media platform, Snapchat, any social media platform, it is there to bring people's eyes, people's attention, and once you have it, you show them ads, right? And how do you create content? It is nearly impossible for one entity to create content that appeals to everybody. But if you make it a public platform and you allow people to post their content for free, then you have the attention. Now, if you look at probably the ratio of creators versus consumers of content, I would probably say it's 1,000 to 1, maybe even 100,000 to 1. Right? Which means for every one content creator, there's probably 100,000 viewers of content. And that is, and I saw that quite early on. And that is why the moment I broke 20, 30,000 followers, I started putting myself out there to do ads and to work with businesses to promote them and market them. And it has worked out quite well for me. I've had over the years, I've had quite a few good big contracts. Until today, it has become part of my income that I can create content and sell ad space and stuff. And I very quickly also realized that on platforms like Facebook, I can have independent monetization. What that means is I don't need customers, I don't need clients, I don't need businesses to partner with me. I get paid purely on my views, purely on my interactions, purely on my presence there. And that has worked out quite well for me. But with that said, I have attracted quite a bit of negativity because unfortunately, social media is not really a reflection on the real world, but social media is definitely a reflection of what is going on in people's minds and in people's hearts. Purely because in their mind, they might think that they're anonymous. So you tend to get a little bit of hate, you get a little bit of people that don't like you, and in the beginning, I used to give a lot of attention to those type of interactions, because I felt that one, I needed people to understand me, and I don't think people understood me, and I needed people to like me, and needed, all those things. Meanwhile, I've learned that you cannot be everything to everybody. And the solution to that is to actually block people's access to you. And I think that I've cracked the code. I've cracked the code to block negativity. I've cracked the code to not give people a reaction, because I find out that that is what they actually want. They want a reaction from you. So back to this conversation I had with this content creator this morning. And I posed this question to him. I said that if you are still, because this guy is quite a clever guy. He's a clever guy, and our interactions through the years, because it's been years. I don't even think that I'm not sure. I don't think he had a baby even when we started interacting. He's got a baby now, he's married. And I asked him one question. And I told him, because he came to me and said, oh, I've got this new, approach. I'm going to be, being a bit more focused and all that. And obviously I've had this conversation with him multiple times. Multiple times I've had this conversation where he's saying that he's going to refocus. He's got this new idea. He's going to do this. I think his biggest problem is he doesn't follow through, which I found a lot of creators are struggling with. I've given advice literally to hundreds of people. And I can tell you now that they have followed my advice intermittently over this few years, and it has worked, but they don't have consistency, or they don't have patience. They tell themselves, I want to, if I for instance say, guys, in the beginning I used to swear a lot on my videos. I was very abrasive. And yes, that got me a lot of views, it got me a lot of interaction, but it didn't get me a lot of respect. It didn't get me a lot of brand equity. It didn't get me any work, or it got me some work. And I said that this is not me not being true to myself. This is not me not being my authentic self. And guys, if that works for the next content creator, by all means, let it work for them. This is what works for me. And I toned it down. And I'm telling you that when I started working on my brand, I started getting much more. I'm talking about much more work. Right? And I told him basically that, listen, my guy, if you were living in a Wendy house, and please guys, this is just an example. If you're living in a Wendy house 4 years ago, and your ambition was to get out of that Wendy house, and please stay focused. If your ambition was to get out of that Wendy house, and 4 years later you have done nothing to get yourself out of that Wendy house, you are doing something wrong. You have stagnated. And I told him, if you stop growing, you die. Now guys, laat ek myself gou weer explain vir al die dom ape daar buite. If you're happy in your Wendy house, if you're happy in your situation, don't let anybody tell you that your situation is wrong. Okay, I'm only speaking to the people with open minds. Okay, laat ek het ook maar sê, I've got no problem with people with Wendy houses. Ek kyk ook neer op mense met Wendy houses hier. Okay? But I will say this, if you are not where you want to be, where you saw yourself 3 years ago, and you are still there, you have to be a little bit more critical of yourself to say, what am I doing wrong? Or am I doing anything wrong? Why am I not growing? Why am I not evolving? Why am I not? And everybody's got different goals. Some people are saying, I want to make more money. If you're not making more money, ask yourself why. Some people say, I want to be more spiritual. If you're not more spiritual, ask yourself why. And I basically said, ek het vir jou kon kry op die app. Ek het vir jou op die app kon kry, ek het jou op social media kon kry. And I have vastly surpassed you. Vastly I have surpassed you. I've left you in the dust. So you must ask yourself, the people you are taking advice from, the people who you idolize, the people who you emulate, is it the right people? Because you're not getting the result. If you are still sleeping in the same bed you were sleeping in 4 years ago, and your goal was to change that bed, and you haven't changed that bed yet, ask yourself, is it a priority thing? Is it a focus thing? Is it a skills thing? And work on that barrier. And basically that was the conversation. And it also alluded to me saying that I have to cut off the toxicity. I cannot tolerate having people that is in my circle that anytime can take a shot at me. Don't take a shot at me if we are all supposed to be wanting to move forward. So the lesson, and for those of you that watch this video till the end, thank you very much. This is the lesson. The lesson is take a very hard look at what you have, who you are, what you've achieved, what you've become in the last 3 to 5 years. Then hold it up to where you wanted to be in 3 to 5 years time. So I need you to go back into your time capsule, or whatever you want to call it. Go contact the person who you were 3 to 5 years ago, and ask yourself, have you made that person proud? Whether it is getting out of a relationship, whether it is buying yourself a new car, whether it is finding a new job, whether it is getting a degree, whatever, ask yourself, have I stayed true to myself in achieving the goals that I was aspiring to 5 years ago? And I'm telling you, if the answer is no, you're going to have to crack the whip on yourself. You're going to have to step up. You're going to have to clean house. You're going to have to change your mindset. You have to, and it starts with you being very, very honest, brutally honest almost to yourself. To say that, listen, I've been playing this last 3 to 5 years. Because and this is in closing, what I told that content creator is, yes, you might be 10 years younger than me, 15 years younger than me. In 15 years time, you are going to be my age that I am now. The question is, are you going to be where you want to be, or are you going to make a whole bunch of excuses again? Because the excuse of saying that I am young, no, but you see, I'm young, is not going to hold up for very long. Because as jy oor uitvee, dan is hy nie meer 'n jonkie, dan is hy ook 43. Maar sy slaap nog altyd in hy selfe kooi. Sy bly nog altyd by hy selfe mense. Sy ry nog altyd dieselfde kar. And these are things that you wanted to change. Because I'm telling you, a rut and a cycle. A rut and a cycle, it's something you think it's a 12-month or a 6-month thing. As jy oor uitvee, is hy in dieselfde pattern vir 5 jaar, vir 10 jaar. And you're still talking about, you know, I need to go and study. Yeah, I must make a plan to buy me a car. Yes, as my rug is so seer, ek wil my ander kooi koop. Ek wil uit die plek uitkom van die mense, ek wil in my eie plek inkom. You're still having that conversation 5-10 years later. And you must ask yourself, are you going to do that again? And be jealous of everyone around you that's achieving their goals, and have a lot to say about people that is busy pushing, that's changing their mindset? Are you still going to talk about, I want to stay true to myself? Well, true to yourself is the looking down, criticizing people that want to evolve to better. And accuse them of looking down on the next person. Meanwhile, you just don't want a reminder that you are not where you're supposed to be, and you are being surpassed by the people that you look down on. You are being surpassed by the people that you used to criticize. Anyway, that's my Monday message. Keep well.